As far as Burkina Faso is concerned, for more than 8 years, we have been confronted with the most barbaric and violent form of neo-colonialism and imperialism. Slavery still has so much to impose on us. Our front-runners have taught us one thing: slavery that is not capable of accepting its own revolt does not deserve to be relied upon by its fate. We don't worry about our fate. We are not asking for someone to rely on our fate. The people of Burkina Faso have decided to fight against
After you listen to the president of Burkina Faso, IBRAHIM TRAORE, you can understand why he is the most feared man in the West, especially in European countries' presidents' offices. He is the most powerful African president who knows how to handle the West and dodge assassination attempts carried on him. Before him, independent African leaders who tried challenging the West were either assassinated or replaced with puppets. However, IBRAHIM TRAORE knows what he has to do to ensure the West's propaganda and covert dirty plans are not manifested. He knows which country to side with to form a united resistance against the West's exploitative policies in the world. So, what did IBRAHIM TRAORE say that sent shockwaves to the world?
Terrorism capable of reviving its development. In this struggle, valiant peoples, wines, and a population have pledged to take up arms in the face of terrorists. The ones we actually called the VDPs, volunteers. We are surprised to see the imperialists calling these VDPs militias and of all kinds. It is one of those wines, because in Europe, when people take up arms to defend their patriots, they are called patriots.
Welcome to a new episode of Black Afric Diary, a channel where we talk about Black African history, culture, arts, and civilization. It's a place where you will see the real picture of Black Africa, its stories, and the events defining it. In this episode, we will tell you what IBRAHIM TRAORE plans to do with the enemies of Africa to bring everything back on track. In his recent speech, Captain IBRAHIM TRAORE delivered a stirring message about the sacrifices and challenges he faces as a young leader committed to transforming Burkina Faso. He began by emphasizing the personal cost of leadership, stating that, as a young man, he could have chosen a simpler path, perhaps a life lived in comfort, but instead, he decided to devote himself fully to his country. This is a theme not uncommon in revolutionary leaders. Like Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's respected former leader, Traoré has accepted the weight of leading a nation in turmoil. His dedication reflects the same selflessness Sankara embodied when he famously rejected personal luxury, living humbly while fighting for the country's sovereignty. However, this came with a cost. Thomas Sankara was assassinated, and now the same is being tried to be done with IBRAHIM TRAORE. That's because he is chasing some individuals whose interests lie with the West.
If we try to straighten all this, inevitably, we will affect the individual interests of some people. And these people are often rich. They have money, they use it to manipulate often poorer people, to put them at risk. This is internal. And these same people do not hesitate to coalesce with the imperialist forces who spend their time trying to impoverish us.
Interestingly, IBRAHIM TRAORE is aware that neo-imperialist countries in Africa have formulated strategies that ensure their interests are safeguarded by aligning with the political and economic elites of African nations. These elites, who hold significant positions in government or major industries, play a crucial role in maintaining systems that benefit external powers. This relationship ensures that African leaders and influential figures protect foreign interests at the expense of national autonomy. One of the key methods used by neo-imperialist countries is creating strong economic ties with African elites. These elites are often offered lucrative contracts, access to resources, and financial privileges in exchange for promoting policies that favor foreign interests. For instance, industries such as mining, oil, and agriculture, vital to neo-imperialists, are frequently controlled by foreign corporations. African elites act as intermediaries or business partners, securing their own wealth while ensuring the dominance of these foreign companies. As a result, their financial well-being becomes directly tied to the continued influence of external powers. Political influence is another powerful tool used by neo-imperialist countries. They provide support, whether through political backing, military aid, or financial assistance, to African leaders who align with their interests. This external support helps keep these leaders in power, but it also comes with expectations. In exchange, these elites avoid reforms that could challenge foreign control, such as policies promoting greater national control over resources or efforts to break away from neo-colonial dependencies. Military aid, often provided under the guise of maintaining security, also serves to keep African leaders compliant, ensuring their loyalty to foreign interests rather than the needs of their own people. Public policy in many African countries is similarly influenced by these external relationships. Neo-imperialist powers use African elites to block or manipulate policies that could threaten their hold over African resources and markets. For example, when governments propose policies aimed at reducing reliance on foreign aid or fostering economic independence, elites who benefit from the current system often resist these changes. They are incentivized to promote economic models driven by foreign powers, ensuring that African economies remain tied to global markets controlled by neo-imperialist interests. However, Ibrahim Traore has made it clear that the interests of these few elites will not be protected this time. Earlier, the general public was made to sacrifice for the interest of the elites who benefited the West. But this time, the general public will be given priority. However, Traore knows that attempts to bring about meaningful change inevitably create enemies both within and outside the nation. For instance, when he discussed straightening the boat, he referred to the significant efforts to stabilize the country after decades of mismanagement and foreign interference. Burkina Faso, like much of West Africa, has faced ongoing challenges related to security and governance, exacerbated by extremist groups operating in the region. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. And everyone knows who is at the back of these insurgents who are given missions to ensure there is no stability in African countries. This makes way for European troops to come to the African countries on the excuse of bringing stability. However, in reality, they are there to secure Western countries' interests. Yet Ibrahim Traore has closed all doors for Western troops.
We will have to prevent certain powers from pillaging us, and that creates a lot of enemies. So we are prepared for these situations. We live them as normal, in fact. It does not frighten us, it does not scare us. It still gives us the courage to move forward, because through these events, we know that the directive line that we have chosen is the best line for our country.
That's why the foreign powers are increasing attacks inside Burkina Faso to make Ibrahim Traore request Western troops. But he did not. Instead, he called Russian soldiers to train Burkina Faso's army and bought weapons including drones for better defense. However, Ibrahim Traore says the biggest threat is from the inside. That's because he knows how deep the West's sympathizers are inside Burkina Faso, who engage in corruption. Yet Traore is well aware that any attempt to confront corruption risks angering those who benefit from it, often the wealthy elite who have long used their influence to maintain their power. He explained that these powerful individuals not only resist reforms, but also manipulate the poor, using them as tools to protect their own interests.
Country for our people. So we live it like that. And the plotters, actually, we have spent 2 years raising awareness, talking, putting people on guard. But it was necessary for the Burkinabe to see for themselves how far certain Burkinabe can go against the country. If we had started to serve in a certain way, it is not obvious that you will understand us. Captain Thomas Sankara was misunderstood at some point, maybe because they started strong, but we had to let the people see, understand what.
However, what does Ibrahim Traore plan to do with those plotting against Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore?
The audience of Bobo Darasso would like to know what the fate reserved for these plotters is.
As we said, from this moment on, I will not go into details. Everyone will take responsibility. If someone takes such a step, he assumes all the consequences. We will not advise anyone or put people on guard.
Well, Ibrahim Traore made it clear that those plotting against him or the country will face serious consequences because they have already been warned. Traore also spoke about the external forces working against his government. He mentioned the imperialist powers who, historically, have spent decades exploiting Burkina Faso's resources and undermining its sovereignty. This aligns with a long-standing pattern in West Africa, where foreign powers, particularly former colonial rulers like France, have maintained a vested interest in the region's resources, including gold, cotton, and agricultural products. The West African CFA franc, a currency tied to France, has been another tool of influence, keeping many countries in the region economically tethered to France. Traore's government, much like that of his predecessor Sankara, has taken steps to reject foreign control, including expelling French troops earlier in 2023, a move that marked a significant shift in Burkina Faso's defense strategy and sparked widespread debate about the nation's future alliances. Moreover, Traore discussed the external destabilization attempts, highlighting the involvement of foreign powers in supporting internal unrest. This point has historical precedent. As Burkina Faso seeks to distance itself from its former colonial ties, many speculate that foreign interference, whether through covert operations or diplomatic pressure, may be aimed at undermining Traore's leadership. Similar tactics were employed during the Cold War when African leaders like Patrice Lumumba, who sought independence from Western control, were removed from power with the backing of external forces. As of now, Ibrahim Traore revealed that there have been various assassination attempts on him and his associates. Turning to recent events, Traore spoke about the assassination attempt on his associate, suggesting that his close associate was targeted as part of a broader plot to destabilize his leadership. Traore's mention of this incident highlights the very real dangers that he and his inner circle face as they push forward with their agenda for reform.
But I think Barcelogo was personally targeted because Barcelogo and I have a history. Barcelogo and the situation of the country have a history. In July 2022, you may be able to contact Barcelogo. I challenged a lot of orders to intervene so that Barcelogo does not fall. I sacrificed a lot of things to Barcelogo. This is the place for me to thank a lot of people who supported us in our maneuver. I think they targeted Barcelogo because it was going to affect me. That was the objective. I do not want to go into certain details. Maybe one day we will have the opportunity.
In this interview, Captain Ibrahim Traore also addressed key issues facing Burkina Faso, including national security, internal governance, and the importance of boosting local production. His responses shed light on the ongoing efforts to stabilize the country, build stronger national sovereignty, and address both internal challenges and external threats. Traore began by discussing the incident in Barcelogo, a tragic event that deeply affected public opinion. He stressed that his government investigates every security breach to understand what went wrong and to hold those responsible accountable. Military authorities visited the site multiple times to gather facts, and Traore assured those responsible for any failures and those who did it would be severely punished. In addition to dealing with military accountability, Traore outlined steps his government has taken to support victims of violence. Laws have been passed to ensure that children of soldiers who died in the conflict are cared for, and the fallen are regarded as martyrs. He emphasized the importance of providing psychological and humanitarian aid to the families affected.
And today, with what we have put in place, we are trying to make an effort through the support of the people. Many soldiers are really proud to be soldiers. That is why they give their body and soul. And with all the support that the people also make in their place, I think that it can only boost the morale. It is true that this situation of destabilization does not affect them, but it gives them even more courage to fight. They understand better why they have to fight for their country. They know that it is not for nothing that we are trying to destabilize ourselves.
What's more, Ibrahim Traore talked about economic independence, which is the core of his mission. Without it, Burkina Faso will not be able to take a stand against the West's exploitation. During the interview, he highlighted the importance of promoting locally made products and reducing reliance on foreign imports. This focus on local production echoes the vision of Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader, Thomas Sankara, who championed economic self-sufficiency during his tenure in the 1980s. Sankara promoted buying local and reducing reliance on Western imports as part of his broader anti-imperialist agenda. Similarly, Traore's government has introduced policies requiring that domestic products be prioritized over imports, reinforcing the message of self-reliance. This approach is also practical in the face of economic challenges, as Burkina Faso, like many developing nations, struggles with external debt, inflation, and over-dependence on foreign goods.
Currently, we are in the dynamic of promoting everything that can transform our raw materials. That is, food products, so that they are consumed by Burkina Faso, which led us to take a decree to institute the fact that if someone wants to import a product, no matter the product, as long as there are Burkina Faso that manufacture it, he must first take it to Burkina Faso, and when it is not enough, he can take it abroad.
What do you think? Should Ibrahim Traore make countries like Russia, China, and North Korea its allies against the West's continued neo-colonialism? Isn't it true that Ibrahim Traore is the bravest leader in Africa who is not stopping despite facing various assassination and coup attempts? In the comment section right below, share your thoughts on what Ibrahim Traore should do to form a united Africa truly independent of the West. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.